Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at HIMS and HERS health. It is time for another update, and on this chart we have seen some interesting developments since the previous video. We have formed an additional low, and we might have formed a more substantial low. In fact, within this area we have had our earnings report, and we are looking at a mixed outcome. The outlook for the long term for international revenue is actually rather positive, but there is still a lot of pressure from a lot of sides basically to look still for continuation to lower prices, and the structure, the technicals still suggest that we should expect to look for continuation in this extension to even lower prices. Now, for context, on the larger time frame, we are looking at a quite bearish structure. We only have a three-wave move to the upside, which is rather suggesting that we may have formed a more substantial top, and that at the very least, we would be looking for this to be a wave 2 correction. Now, the unfortunate part is that even after this wave 2 correction, within this area of support, we don't have an initial 5-wave move to the upside that would strongly suggest continuation to even higher prices afterwards. So it's definitely within a difficult position, but we are now tracking this area of support between the $21 all the way down to the $5.5, and it would rather be ideal to identify within a smaller time frame an initial 5-wave move to the upside before looking for a more aggressive accumulation, in my opinion, because we have already failed to hold our internal area of support for an initial 5-wave move to the upside in a larger ABC structure. We had the $30, the last level of support, the level below which we knew that this structure was much more likely going to extend to lower prices, going to break the previous swing low within this area, and we will not have a reliable structure any longer. So here we are at the moment. We have reached the 50% retracement in this extension to lower prices. At the same time, we have pushed into structural support in this area, and we see a bit of a reaction. Now, paired up with the earnings, makes sense, but the structure still suggests we should be strongly prepared for even lower prices. Now, here we are tracking an ABC pattern to be unfolding. I am inclined to believe that within this wave C, we would be looking at a diagonal pattern, in which case, we would be looking still for a 5-wave move to the downside to unfold within this area, but we are looking for only an ABC movement to form within this wave 3 before having a full count. Now, in this ABC pattern, we are of course focusing on the wave C, where we are looking likely at an ending diagonal as well. So within this structure, I am tracking this as a wave 1, a wave 2 up, and I'm looking for the larger wave 3 to form a bottom here within the relatively near term. So even within this wave C of the larger wave 3 to the upside, we are still looking for substantial continuation lower. I would consider ideal to build a couple of additional lows before we would be able to consider this count to be full. Now, I wanted to briefly mention that if you want to get access to our monthly top picks, where we identify for you high quality structures, not this, not such weak structures, you can sign up to our newsletter in the description, and it is completely free. Now, here within this movement to the downside, within this wave C, as we are tracking an ending diagonal, I'm looking in the internal wave 3 of the larger wave C to build an ABC structure as well. And we would expect at this point to be towards the end of this wave C to the downside. Although, even with the additional extension to lower prices, I would still be looking for an additional low, and I would consider the current extension since the previous video to lower prices to actually still be part of this internal wave 3. Now, in the previous video, we have highlighted the area of support we needed to hold to manage to actually extend to higher prices, at least into one of our areas of resistance, and we didn't get even that. So we have broken below the 78.6% retracement. It was going to be a strong suggestion that this structure was going for another low in a more direct fashion. Now, fortunately, it didn't do so within the blue interpretation, which would have had quite bearish implications, but nonetheless, it did form another low, and since we haven't reached the area of resistance for a larger potential wave 4, I would have to assume this was still part of this wave 3 and that we would still be looking for this larger wave 4 correction to still look to take place before considering that we have actually completed this 5-wave move to the downside within this wave C. So right now, I might consider this to have been a wave A down here, a wave B up here, and then this as a wave C down. Doesn't matter exactly, it's a rough estimation of what we are looking for, but what is clear is that I expect to reach at least the $16.6 within a wave 4 correction in this area before assuming we would already be building the 5th wave to the downside. Now, in terms of resistance, however, for a signal that this wave to the downside in the wave C is complete, I will need to see a break above the $22.6 level. However, for a signal that this entire wave C to the downside completing this large wave 3, the biggest wave 3 we have in this area, I would actually need to see a break above the $25 level at the 61.8% retracement. We could make this structure work in an assumption where a bottom would be in place, but only with a break above the $25 level, and then we would still have yet another area of resistance to be broken, because we would still have the larger wave 4, not part of this wave 3, but the larger structure, the larger wave C to the downside, would be able to look for even higher prices for resistance before assuming a bottom is in place. Now, personally, I find it likely that we will follow through within at least one additional low before this wave 3 would form a more substantial bottom, but beyond that, it can be considered rather optional, depending on the outlook. This company has a lot going on at the moment. Acquisition, lawsuits, all the stuff basically, the good and the bad. But for now, I would be looking for an internal area of support to once again at least reach our area of resistance at the $16.6. That is my minimum expectation for this wave 4, and I would expect to do so within a 3-wave pattern. Now, in terms of support, I'm watching here the area between the $15 all the way down to the $14.2. And so far, it is actually looking promising. I might even be able to identify here an initial 5-wave move to the upside, although it is certainly within a very small time frame, and I wouldn't necessarily trust this for a high probability structure, for a high probability setup. But against the $14.2, sure, we can look still for continuation to higher prices, where a break below it would signal to us that we would likely need to consider yet another extension to the downside in this area. But at the same time, it is in line perfectly with the larger area of support, at least with the 50% Fibonacci retracement, We have the 78.6% retracement basically on top of that. But for now, there isn't much else to add. These are the levels, this is the trade setup. If you enjoyed our video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, all the good stuff. And if you enjoy our content in general and you want to support us, you can check out our channel membership where you get access to additional content as well. But for now, I hope you have a nice day, and let me know what else you would like me to cover. I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead, and until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.